Okay, first of all, I'm using another camera right now. My Canon SD200 camcorder. The battery is completely dead. I've got a new one on order, so not dead as in need to charge, dead as in doesn't take a charge. So I'm using my Canon snap and point and shoot camera, the SD1400 IS. So probably be in HD. If the sound quality is better and the actual footage, I may just use this from now on. Well, anyway, we're going to be working on the carb. If you remember in the carb video, I told you to temporarily put this, sorry about that, put this on. Well, this is the reason why, because today we're going to be putting on the throttle cables. So first thing you want to do is obviously take the cover off, and then you see you've got your pulley here. You're going to need something to hold this down. You don't want to scratch it or anything, but you do need something to hold it in place, which it can be a little bit of a bear. And you can also adjust your, sorry about that, stuff falling everywhere, your screw here, but you're only going to get so far if you notice. And that's about its limit. So, it's your idle cable there. So we're going to just kind of hold this right here best we can. There we go. And your throttle cable, you have two cables. It's a push-pull system. So here's the bottom cable. We're going to slide that into the pulley. And then on this one you notice there's a nut on both sides. One nut goes on the inside, the other one's on the out. Simply let that go. We'll just let that kind of hang there for now. And then you've got your other cable, which we'll have to put that back in. This one is threaded, so do the same thing. You should have enough length on this cable to not really need to pull that pulley around. And it's a little easier with the carb out because you've got all that room. And we're simply going to slide that in there, screw that in there temporarily, well, permanently, but we're not going to tighten it down really yet. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of a cold still, so. Okay, so put this one back up here. And we'll tighten it down a little bit so it doesn't keep on falling. There we go. Next thing we'll do is we'll put one of the screws in on the cover. I'm going to put one because we may need to get in here and look again, you never know. So we're not going to put it in all the way. We'll just snug it up. There you go. So this is the bottom section where the carb is. Now we'll go to the same video and we'll go up top and show you how to connect the throttle cable. Okay, here's the throttle shaft here. As you saw in one of the other videos, we put it on. I put the grips on. I did put the levers on it. They're just temporarily on there. I did some other things. I was waiting to get the camera fixed, or not the camera, but the battery, new battery, and I got a little impatient, but I saved most of the stuff for the videos, but some of it I wanted to get done, so unfortunately. And then this camera I just got, so because I needed a new camera anyway, just a regular digital camera. So anyway, here's the throttle. We've got the throttle halves here, and set you down here, and then we've got the throttle cables coming up here. Now, best way to do this, well, down is the neutral position where it is right now. Get you up a little higher here. Sorry about that. So this is the neutral position, and then wide open throttle is up. So the best way to do it, I found, is to put a front one on. Just kind of leave it set there. And this, in case you're wondering how this goes in, this has got a groove, and essentially this holds the normal plastic throttle tubes on. This is what holds it on. if you remember, this has got that, this particular one has that insert, but it doesn't assist in holding this one on as well. So that's actually what holds the throttle in on most of them. So you've got that in there. And then if you remember again, you've got 2 cables. And here they are right here. And they only go in one way. You can see they're both together. And that's like this. Basically they go down and on there. So we're going to put this on. I'll show you how this goes. So here's the 2 cables. You've got, it's got to go like this. So you've got 1 cable goes on that side. It rides in that groove, and the other cable goes on the other side. And I'm sorry if this is not real clear. I just started using this camera. It does have a zoom on it, but I don't like the zoom feature. So there's the throttle cable right there. And I'm just taking this, I'm just installing this with it off to show you guys how it actually goes on. So you pull this sheathing back, and you put your other half on, and these halves actually hold that throttle cable together as well. It's a little tricky. I mean, if you've never done it, it's definitely a little tricky. And then you would screw those together, and you've essentially got the baseline of the throttle cable in there. So you're pretty much, not quite a home run, but you're on your way to being done here. Aside from a few adjustments. You see what I mean about it being a little finicky? It's not lining up quite right. There we go. And more than likely you'll have a cover that goes over this as well. I'm not using that cover, but that's all personal preference. Put the bottom one in, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to adjust it on the bottom end here. Stay tuned. Okay, actually it's not too bad. It's see down here how it works. It's actually got a pretty quick return already. So there's really not a whole lot of adjustment that needs done on this. This is just simply going to be adjusting your full throttle and your return. If it sticks, you know, you'd want to adjust it, but let me get a closer view of that. See, the top one, when you close, well, when you're wide open, the bottom one is actually the pull, and then when you're off, the top one's the pull. So it's called a push-pull system. So really, that's kind of it for the throttle cable. I thought there would be some